What if the greatest cities of ancient times weren't built above ground, but below it? We've long been taught that civilization advanced upward, toward towering ziggurats, marble temples, and gleaming pyramids. But what if the real story of human progress lies buried beneath our feet, carved into bedrock and sealed in silence? Across the world, archaeologists are unearthing vast underground cities that defy explanation, many of which were hidden for thousands of years. These are not just caves or shelters. They're sprawling, multi-level metropolises with ventilation systems, food storage chambers, religious sanctuaries, and even sophisticated defense mechanisms. Why would ancient civilizations go through such effort to live below the surface? The answers are as varied as they are mysterious. Some built subterranean cities to hide from enemies or escape persecution. Others retreated underground to survive harsh climates, volcanic eruptions, or even cosmic events lost to modern memory. And in some cases, the reasons remain entirely unknown, lost to time and deliberately omitted from mainstream history. From the icy depths of Antarctica to the sun-baked plateaus of Turkey and the sacred mountains of Peru, whispers of forgotten civilizations echo through sealed tunnels and unexplored chambers. And these aren't isolated anomalies. They're part of a much larger global pattern, one that challenges what we know about humanity's past and hints at a hidden legacy of underground engineering far more advanced than previously believed. We're about to travel through sealed corridors carved by hand thousands of years ago, into cities that could house tens of thousands, some reaching depths rivaling modern skyscrapers. Along the way, we'll uncover forbidden sites, mysterious acoustic chambers, and rumors of suppressed discoveries hidden by governments and academic institutions. This isn't just a story of architecture. It's a story of survival, secrecy, and perhaps even a global network of ancient knowledge kept underground, both literally and metaphorically. Why are some of these places kept off limits? Why are the most extraordinary discoveries often dismissed as anomalies or ignored altogether? And what does it say about the true age and capability of the civilizations that came before us? Prepare to question everything you know about ancient history, because the world beneath our feet is older, deeper, and stranger than anyone ever dared to imagine. Welcome to the forgotten underworld of human civilization, a world of ancient underground cities that history tried to erase. Let's begin our descent. Why did ancient civilizations build underground? The question seems simple at first glance. Why would ancient civilizations choose to live, worship, or bury the dead beneath the surface of the earth? But dig just a little deeper, and the answers lead to a tangled web of necessity, symbolism, survival, and secrets. The phenomenon of ancient underground architecture is far from isolated. It appears across continents, cultures, and time periods, often with shockingly advanced planning and engineering for their era. And the more we discover, the more it becomes clear, these were not primitive attempts at shelter. These were complex, deliberate designs, and the reasons behind them reveal a secret ancient history that's been largely overlooked. For many ancient peoples, the underground world was a matter of survival. In times of war, what better way to avoid detection than to vanish beneath the earth? In regions like Anatolia, now modern-day Turkey, the Hittites and their successors faced waves of invasions over centuries. The solution: entire cities carved into soft volcanic rock, invisible from above, protected by stone doors, dead-end passages, and choke points designed to trap invaders. These underground fortresses could house thousands and were stocked with water, food, and air shafts. In a world of constant threat, underground cities weren't a luxury, they were a necessity. But warfare wasn't the only enemy. Nature itself forced humanity below ground. In some regions, underground architecture was a direct response to unforgiving environments. In deserts where the sun scorched the earth, descending into cooler subterranean levels meant protection from extreme heat. In volcanic zones, underground shelters became sanctuaries from eruptions, ash clouds, and lava flows. Even in the far north, early Arctic peoples dug into the permafrost for insulation against temperatures that would kill within hours. In places like Cappadocia, entire towns disappeared beneath the ground not out of fear of conquest, but in search of habitable conditions. There's also a less obvious, but deeply powerful motive: spiritual belief. Many ancient cultures didn't view the underground simply as a refuge, but as sacred space. To the Sumerians, Greeks, and Egyptians, the underworld was the realm of the dead, a gateway to rebirth or judgment. Going underground wasn't just about hiding or surviving. It was about transformation. Ritual chambers, often deep below temples, were designed to simulate death and rebirth experiences. Initiates would descend in darkness and emerge changed. The symbolic journey mirrored the soul's passage through the afterlife. This brings us to one of the most fascinating, yet overlooked ideas in archaeology: the psychological significance of underground spaces. The Earth was seen not just as a resource but as a mother, a womb, a place of origin. Across cultures, going underground was akin to returning to the womb of the planet. Caves were seen as sacred portals. Tunnels were viewed as veins of the earth. Some of the oldest known spiritual art in the world, like the Chauvet and Lascaux cave paintings in France, were made deep underground, far from sunlight, suggesting that ancient people sought profound experiences in these hidden realms. These weren't just shelters, they were sanctuaries. And the evidence stretches back astonishingly far. Underground architecture is not a recent discovery of history, it's as old as civilization itself. Neolithic burial mounds with subterranean passages have been found across Europe, often aligned with solstices or lunar cycles, indicating advanced astronomical knowledge. In the British Isles, Bronze Age cairns like Maes Howe in Orkney show evidence of intentional underground design for spiritual purposes, long before the first pyramids were built in Egypt. What ties all these findings together is the undeniable presence of intent. These structures weren't accidental or haphazard. They were precise, symbolic, and engineered to serve specific roles, sometimes practical, often mystical. The fact that so many ancient cultures independently developed underground cities and tunnels, without contact with each other, suggests a deeper, perhaps universal logic behind it. Whether as fortresses, refrigerators, initiation chambers, or portals to the afterlife, the purpose of underground cities was never just to escape what was above, it was to connect to something deeper below. What makes this even more intriguing is how little this subject is emphasized in mainstream history. The focus remains on grand temples, sky-reaching ziggurats, and megaliths that cast shadows across the earth. Yet for every monument that rises, there is a network that descends, out of sight, and often out of mind. But what if that's where the real story is? What if the key to understanding ancient civilizations isn't in what they built for the sky, but what they buried in the earth? The deeper we look, the more we realize that ancient underground architecture wasn't a footnote in history, it was a defining chapter. And perhaps it's a chapter that was deliberately closed. Because what lies beneath may challenge everything we think we know about humanity's past. Derinkuyu, Turkey's 18-story subterranean metropolis, in the heart of Cappadocia, a region already famed for its alien-looking rock formations and fairy chimneys, lies one of the most astonishing architectural feats ever uncovered. Beneath the dusty surface of modern-day Turkey, an entire city once thrived, hidden in complete darkness. It's called Derinkuyu, and what makes it extraordinary isn't just its size or age. It's the realization that an entire civilization managed to vanish underground and live there, completely out of sight, for what may have been generations. The discovery of Derinkuyu was as accidental as it was surreal. In 1963, a man in the town of Derinkuyu knocked down a wall in his basement, expecting to make a bit of extra space. Instead, he found himself staring into a dark tunnel that led deeper into the earth. What he had uncovered wasn't just a forgotten cellar or a single chamber. It was the entrance to an ancient underground city, one that spanned at least 18 levels downward and stretched out for miles. And that was only the beginning. As archaeologists descended into the labyrinth, what they found defied belief. Derinkuyu wasn't a series of crude caves carved for shelter. It was a complex, self-sustaining metropolis designed for long-term habitation. It had everything a surface city might need, just underground. Living quarters were arranged in levels, with upper levels possibly used for shorter-term shelter, and deeper levels for extended habitation. There were stables for livestock, communal kitchens, wells for water, and even schools and religious chapels. Tombs were tucked into quiet chambers. Entire families could live in private quarters connected by narrow corridors just wide enough for one person to pass at a time. Estimates suggest Derinkuyu could accommodate over 20,000 people at once. That number becomes even more mind-boggling when considering that the entire population could survive for months without returning to the surface. Air shafts, some over 50 meters deep, were strategically placed to circulate fresh air through the city. Ventilation was so sophisticated that even fires used for cooking and warmth didn't choke the underground space with smoke. Wells were dug to access fresh water, many of them sealed from above to prevent poisoning by enemies. Food storage rooms kept provisions dry and safe. The deeper one goes, the more apparent it becomes that this was no emergency shelter. It was a fully operational, intelligently designed civilization below ground. Adding to the mystery, Derinkuyu is connected via a tunnel system to another underground city, Kaymakli, nearly 8 kilometers away. The existence of such a connection speaks to a scale of planning that many still struggle to explain. Who built these tunnels? How did they engineer them with such precision, all while carving through volcanic rock with rudimentary tools? The logistics alone boggle the mind. No records exist detailing the construction, and yet the city is clearly the product of careful engineering and an intimate understanding of both geology and urban planning. Among the city's most fascinating features are its massive rolling stone doors. These disc-shaped stones, weighing hundreds of kilograms, could be rolled across passageways to seal off rooms or entire levels in the event of attack. They could only be operated from the inside, turning each chamber into a potential fortress. There were even narrow vertical shafts cut into floors and ceilings, allowing defenders to attack intruders from above or retreat safely to lower levels. This wasn't just a hideout. It was a stronghold. A fortress engineered to protect life and knowledge from external threats, whether human or natural. As for the builders of Derinkuyu, theories range widely. Some credit the Phrygians, an Indo-European people active in Anatolia around 800 BCE, while others believe earlier Hittite or even pre-Hittite cultures laid the groundwork. But there's evidence suggesting the site may be far older than anyone is willing to admit. Certain geological weathering patterns on the lower levels imply a much earlier construction date, possibly extending back to the Bronze Age or earlier. If that's true, Derinkuyu may predate many of the world's recognized ancient wonders. What deepens the intrigue is that Derinkuyu is still not fully explored. Several passages remain sealed or blocked, with modern archaeologists estimating that less than half of the entire complex has been mapped. Turkish authorities have kept certain areas restricted, sparking speculation about what lies beneath the lower levels. Is it simply more of the same, residences, storage rooms, and chapels? Or could it be something more hidden, more profound, something deliberately buried beneath the sands of time? Derinkuyu isn't just an archaeological marvel. It's a direct challenge to our assumptions about what ancient humans were capable of. While modern historians once believed complex urban planning began with surface cities in Mesopotamia or the Nile Valley, Derinkuyu tells a different story, one of lost cities of Cappadocia, built not into the sky but into the earth, carved with astonishing precision and a vision for survival and secrecy. Today, Derinkuyu is open to the public, but only a fraction is safe for visitors. The rest remains cloaked in darkness, unreachable to the average eye, and tantalizingly unexplored. What secrets are still hidden behind its sealed tunnels? What history waits to be rewritten? In the world of ancient Turkey underground cities, Derinkuyu remains the crown jewel, an 18-story enigma that stands as proof that what lies beneath may be far greater than anything we've built above. Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni, Malta's ancient echo chamber. Hidden beneath a quiet street in Pala, Malta, lies one of the most mysterious and haunting structures ever discovered, the Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni. While tourists flock to the island's megalithic temples and sun-drenched coastlines, very few know that beneath their feet exists an ancient underground temple older than Stonehenge, and possibly older than the pyramids of Egypt. This site is not just ancient. It's baffling. With 3 subterranean levels, advanced engineering, and bizarre acoustic properties, the Hypogeum challenges everything we thought we knew about the prehistoric world. Dating back over 5,000 years, the Hypogeum is considered one of the oldest known examples of underground temples in the world. Discovered in 1902 during construction work, this extraordinary site was almost destroyed before anyone realized its importance. Workers were digging foundations for a housing project when they stumbled upon what looked like a cavern. Instead, they had uncovered a vast subterranean complex cut entirely from solid limestone by hand. There were no modern tools, no mechanical equipment, just the sheer will of an ancient civilization determined to go down instead of up. The structure itself is divided into 3 main levels, each serving a distinct function. The upper level contains storage rooms and evidence of domestic use. The middle level features chambers likely used for ritual or ceremonial purposes. The deepest level, plunging over 10 meters underground, is a place of utter silence and darkness, seemingly untouched since its creation. The architecture is both beautiful and precise. Smooth archways, polished walls, and flowing forms mimic surface temples above ground, yet they are hidden away from the sun and sky, preserved in perpetual shadow. One of the most chilling and fascinating rooms within the Hypogeum is known as the Oracle Room. This chamber is small and unassuming, but its acoustic properties defy logic. A voice spoken at a particular frequency reverberates throughout the entire complex, creating an eerie, resonant hum that can be felt in the bones. Scientists have tested this effect and found that the chamber amplifies sound at a specific frequency around 110 Hz, a tone that impacts the brain's prefrontal cortex and can induce altered states of consciousness. This has led many to believe that the room was intentionally engineered for ritual chanting, meditation, or even trance induction. It's not just a coincidence. It's design. And it's unlike anything else found in ancient architecture. But sound isn't the only mystery in this place. In the early 20th century, a collection of human skulls was found within the chambers. Most were standard for the time, but several displayed unusual features, most notably, elongated craniums. These weren't the result of disease or artificial cranial binding. The skulls were naturally shaped this way, raising difficult questions about the people who once inhabited Malta. Were they part of a distinct and now extinct genetic group? Were they migrants from another advanced culture lost to time? Some of the skulls have since disappeared from public view, now housed in restricted museum archives or lost entirely. The few that remain continue to fuel speculation about forgotten lineages and the real identity of Malta's prehistoric inhabitants. Perhaps most unsettling are the parts of the Hypogeum that remain off-limits to this day. There are sealed chambers, unexplored corridors, and underground sections that have never been reopened since their initial discovery. Early reports mentioned spiral staircases descending into even deeper layers, but these have since vanished from official records. Whether due to concerns over structural collapse or more controversial reasons, many believe that access has been deliberately restricted. Some speculate that these closed-off areas contain inscriptions, artifacts, or architectural anomalies that don't fit with the accepted narrative of prehistoric Europe. Adding another layer to the enigma is the fact that the Hypogeum shows no signs of being used for everyday life. There are no cooking implements, no farming tools, no signs of regular habitation. Everything points toward it being a sacred or ceremonial site, possibly connected to death, the afterlife, or contact with something beyond ordinary human experience. The entire complex feels less like a shelter and more like a purpose-built interface between the physical world and something else, something sacred, hidden, and possibly even forbidden. The Hypogeum of Halsaflieni stands as a silent monument to an age we don't fully understand. Its underground chambers continue to resist complete explanation. Despite a century of study, no definitive answers have been found regarding who built it, why they went underground, or what secrets still lie buried in its sealed halls. Yet it remains one of the most compelling examples of underground temples ever discovered, a rare window into the deeper, stranger layers of our collective past. As more of the world's attention turns towards surface ruins and towering monuments, Malta's underground acoustic chambers remind us that the most profound mysteries are often those we cannot see. The Hypogeum doesn't just challenge the timeline of civilization, it whispers to us from the dark, echoing with questions we have. The mysterious tunnels beneath Teotihuacan. In the heart of Mexico's Valley of the Dead stands a city that continues to defy the limits of ancient knowledge. Teotihuacan, with its massive pyramids and precise urban layout, has puzzled archaeologists for decades. But beneath its surface lies an even greater enigma, an underground tunnel system recently unearthed that threatens to rewrite everything we thought we knew about Mesoamerican civilizations. It was in 2011, under the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, that this lost chapter of history began to reveal itself. The discovery was triggered by something as ordinary as heavy rainfall. A sinkhole opened near the base of the temple, exposing a hidden shaft. When archaeologist Sergio Gomez and his team descended into the darkness, they found not just a cave or simple passageway but an engineered tunnel stretching over 100 meters beneath one of the most sacred sites in the ancient city. What they found inside was beyond imagination, something that had been untouched for nearly 2,000 years. The Teotihuacan tunnels were not crude or improvised. They were lined with carved stone, organized in straight paths, and engineered with careful attention to slope and structure. The tunnel led deep underground, beneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, also known as the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, a place associated with divinity, death, and rebirth. As they moved deeper, the team uncovered offerings that stunned even the most experienced researchers. Carved statues, jade masks, seashells brought from distant coasts, and exotic animal remains filled alcoves and side chambers. But that wasn't the most shocking part. The true mystery came in the form of hundreds of small, round metallic spheres scattered along the tunnel floor. Ranging in size and covered in a strange golden material identified as jarosite, a compound formed through oxidation, they had no known purpose. No similar artifacts have been found anywhere in Mesoamerican archaeology. Some researchers speculated they may have been ritualistic. Others whispered about something more alien, more otherworldly. To this day, no one can explain them with certainty. Their origin remains an unsolved riddle. And then came the mercury. Deep within the tunnel, the team discovered what appeared to be pools of liquid mercury, a substance highly toxic, difficult to extract, and extremely rare in the ancient world. Yet the people of Teotihuacan had not only obtained it but had used it deliberately beneath their most sacred temple. In modern times, mercury has been linked to reflective rituals and representations of the underworld in ancient texts. Its shimmering, mirror-like surface may have symbolized a gateway, a portal to another realm, a reflection of life beyond death. The tunnel's architecture seemed to support this theory. It didn't just lead inward, it led downward. The deeper one went, the more symbolic the surroundings became. From the entrance to the final chamber, the path appears to mimic a journey into the underworld, aligning with Mesoamerican cosmology. Some experts now believe that the tunnel was designed to recreate the mythic path of the dead, guiding the souls of rulers or high priests toward divine rebirth. It may have even served as a ceremonial space where these journeys were ritually enacted, echoing beliefs later seen in Maya and Aztec traditions. What makes all of this more astonishing is that the builders of Teotihuacan left behind no known writing system. Despite constructing one of the largest and most complex cities in the ancient world, home to over 100,000 people at its peak, they recorded nothing in the form of script. No carved histories, no royal lists, no written prayers. And yet, their engineering rivals that of ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia. Their buildings align with celestial bodies, their city grid reflects astronomical precision, and their hydraulic systems suggest a mastery of water management. How did a civilization with no written language achieve such sophistication? Some researchers suggest that the lack of writing isn't a failure of the culture, but a deliberate choice, perhaps a form of sacred silence meant to protect forbidden knowledge. Others argue that the writing simply hasn't been found yet, possibly hidden within sealed chambers or lost beneath layers of time. Still others propose that Teotihuacan was a multicultural metropolis, drawing from multiple linguistic groups, which may explain the absence of unified inscriptions. The tunnel under the Temple of the Feathered Serpent remains one of the most compelling archaeological finds in the Americas. It has yielded over 100,000 artifacts, many still under analysis, and continues to reveal new insights with every excavation. Yet despite all the discoveries, the identity of Teotihuacan's rulers remains unknown. No royal tombs have ever been found. No named kings or queens. It is as if the city deliberately erased its human architects, leaving only their monumental works behind. This ancient Mexico underground marvel stands as a symbol of both revelation and secrecy. Teotihuacan offers us a glimpse into a civilization advanced beyond our expectations, yet cloaked in deliberate mystery. It is a city that was built to awe, both above and below the ground, a place where tunnels were not just structures but sacred pathways designed to blur the line between life, death, and something beyond. The lost Mesoamerican civilizations may have vanished from the Earth, but they left behind shadows beneath the surface, waiting for us to follow. The Giza underground networks, Egypt's forbidden chambers. Beneath the sun-scorched sands of the Giza Plateau lies a world the public rarely sees. While millions flock to Egypt each year to marvel at the Great Pyramid and the enigmatic Sphinx, few are aware that some of the most compelling mysteries are not above ground, but buried deep beneath it. These aren't just myths or wild theories. There is growing evidence, scientific, historical, and anecdotal, suggesting a complex network of underground tunnels and sealed chambers hidden beneath Egypt's most iconic monuments. And for reasons still unclear, access to many of these sites remains restricted, classified, or outright denied. For decades, archaeologists and independent researchers have speculated about the presence of vast subterranean passages running beneath the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. These suspicions were largely dismissed until modern technology provided something hard to ignore: subsurface radar imaging. Using SAR, or synthetic aperture radar, researchers were able to peer beneath the surface without excavation. The scans revealed massive anomalies, voids, chambers, and linear features, consistent with man-made tunnels. Some run deep under the Great Pyramid, while others seem to lead directly beneath the pores of the Sphinx. In 1993, French engineer and amateur Egyptologist Jean-Pierre Houdin released data suggesting the Great Pyramid may have been constructed using internal ramps concealed within its structure. That same year, ground-penetrating radar near the Sphinx detected rectangular anomalies beneath its base. Egyptian authorities acknowledged the presence of these cavities, but to this day, they remain sealed. The official explanation: preservation. But for many, it raises a more unsettling possibility, that the contents of these chambers are being deliberately withheld from the public. The most enduring legend tied to these tunnels is the so-called Hall of Records. According to ancient lore, and popularized by the clairvoyant Edgar Cayce in the early 20th century, this hidden chamber contains the lost knowledge of Atlantis, blueprints of civilization itself, sealed away to await a future when humanity would be ready. Cayce specifically stated that the Hall of Records lay beneath the Sphinx's right paw. Decades later, radar scans revealed a void in precisely that location. Was this a lucky guess, or a validation of long-dismissed mythology? But Cayce wasn't the only historical figure to hint at something hidden. The Greek historian Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, described extensive underground structures beneath the pyramids. He claimed to have seen colossal subterranean halls used for rituals and burials, though modern scholars often debate the accuracy of his accounts. Still, when Herodotus' words align with modern radar scans and unexplained archaeological decisions, the picture becomes harder to ignore. Officially, Egyptian authorities maintain that the pyramids and Sphinx have been fully explored, and that there is no credible evidence of hidden chambers or tunnels of significance. But access remains tightly controlled. Independent researchers who've tried to gain permits to explore beneath the monuments often face insurmountable red tape. In some cases, digs have been abruptly shut down without explanation. Whistleblowers and former insiders have even alleged that certain findings have been covered up to protect the prevailing historical narrative. Some go further, claiming that what lies beneath Giza could shatter conventional timelines entirely. If the Hall of Records or similar chambers were ever found and proven to predate the known dynasties of Egypt, it would challenge everything from the origins of civilization to the authenticity of our current understanding of human history. This is not merely a matter of archaeology, it becomes a question of who gets to write history and who decides what truths are allowed to surface. Adding to the intrigue are legends among the ancient Egyptians themselves. The texts found in the Temple of Edfu refer to the primordial mounds, and speak of a time before dynastic Egypt, when the gods walked among men and knowledge was passed through a sacred lineage. These texts describe hidden repositories of wisdom protected from cataclysm and sealed away in stone. Whether allegorical or literal, they mirror the claims surrounding the Hall of Records with chilling precision. Despite the official silence, occasional leaks and discoveries keep the curiosity alive. In 2017, an enormous void was detected within the Great Pyramid using muon radiography, a technique that tracks cosmic particles to reveal hidden spaces. This cavity, the size of a commercial airplane, has no known access point and no clear explanation. Its purpose remains unknown. Is it simply a structural feature? Or another sealed chamber yet to be opened? The Giza Plateau continues to guard its secrets. While the world gazes at its towering structures, the deeper story may lie in what has been buried and forgotten, or hidden. Beneath layers of limestone and beneath layers of bureaucracy, there may exist the final pieces of an ancient puzzle. Whether those pieces are suppressed for political reasons, religious beliefs, or out of fear of rewriting history, the result is the same. The truth remains locked below. In the context of Egypt mystery and underground Sphinx tunnels, the unanswered questions surrounding the Giza hidden chambers are more relevant now than ever. As technology advances and curiosity grows, one thing becomes clear. The most extraordinary discovery in Egypt may not be found under the blazing sun, but in the shadows far beneath it. Chinkana labyrinths of Peru, Incan underground mystery. High in the Peruvian Andes, above the ancient city of Cusco, lie the remains of a civilization that continues to puzzle the world. While most travelers marvel at the stone citadel of Sacsayhuamorn with its cyclopean masonry and unexplained precision, few realize that the real mystery may lie just beneath their feet. The Chinkana tunnels, part of an alleged subterranean labyrinth carved by the Inca or even earlier civilizations, have become the focus of stories, legends, and increasingly, restricted access. These underground passages are shrouded in mystery, not only because of their depth and complexity, but because of what they may still be hiding. The word Chinkana in Quechua means to get lost, a fitting name for a network of tunnels where people are said to vanish without a trace. These labyrinths are believed to run beneath Sacsayhuamorn and stretch all the way to various sacred sites, including the Coricancha, or Temple of the Sun, in the center of Cusco. According to local tradition, these tunnels were once used for secret travel between temples and as hiding places during times of conflict. Some claim they extend for miles beneath the ancient capital of the Inca Empire, their full extent still unknown. What elevates the Chinkana tunnels from fascinating to frightening are the stories surrounding them. Throughout the years, accounts have surfaced of people who entered the tunnels and never returned. One of the most enduring legends tells of a group of young people who, decades ago, ventured into the tunnels during a local celebration. Only one emerged, days later, incoherent and terrified. The search for the others was called off after rescue teams reportedly encountered collapses and inexplicable blockages. What exactly lies within those tunnels has never been fully explored, and that may not be by accident. The lore surrounding the Chinkana labyrinths doesn't stop at mysterious disappearances. Another story, told by both local elders and echoed in colonial-era records, speaks of a lost treasure hidden within the labyrinth. According to legend, when the Spanish arrived in Cusco, Incan priests and royalty hid immense quantities of gold and sacred objects within the tunnels to prevent them from being looted. These treasures included life-sized golden statues, ritual vessels, and priceless records of the Incan world. Some even believe that the famed golden disc of the Coricancha, said to represent the sun itself, was hidden away within these underground chambers and remains there to this day. In the centuries since, multiple attempts have been made to locate this supposed treasure, often ending in frustration or disaster. While skeptics dismiss these stories as myth, others point to the sudden restrictions placed on access to the tunnels as a clue that there may be more truth to them than authorities are willing to admit. Today, most of the known entrances to the Chinkana network are sealed off. Those that remain accessible are closely monitored, and tourists are strictly prohibited from venturing beyond certain depths. The official explanation is safety, fears of cave-ins or becoming lost in the darkness. But for some, the restrictions feel more like intentional suppression. Archaeologists have expressed frustration at the lack of full-scale exploration. While some minor surveys have been conducted, comprehensive mapping of the Chinkana system has never been undertaken. The Peruvian government has cited concerns over preservation and safety, but the absence of any real investigation leaves a vacuum that fuels speculation. What lies beneath the ancient capital of the Inca Empire remains an unanswered question. And perhaps that's the point. The Chinkana tunnels serve as more than just an archaeological curiosity. They embody the deeper mysteries of the lost cities of the Andes, civilizations that achieved extraordinary feats of engineering and astronomy, yet left behind no written language to explain how or why. Their silence is matched only by the darkness of the tunnels they carved. If the legends are true, then the labyrinths beneath Cusco may hold not only material riches, but records of a civilization's soul, hidden from history and protected by secrecy. Whether created as a refuge, a passageway, or a vault for forbidden knowledge, the Chinkana tunnels of Peru remain one of the least understood and most compelling enigmas of the ancient world. They stand as a silent reminder that for every ruin we can see, there may be an entire world we've yet to discover, hidden in stone, lost in myth, and buried beneath the mountains. Antarctica's hidden subglacial cities. At the bottom of the world, concealed beneath miles of ancient ice, lies a continent that is as mysterious as it is remote. Antarctica, often associated with vast glaciers and scientific research stations, has recently become the focus of one of the most intriguing archaeological and conspiratorial discussions of our time. Could this frozen landmass be hiding the remnants of ancient civilizations, entire cities entombed beneath the ice for tens of thousands of years? It sounds like science fiction, yet a growing body of satellite imagery, geophysical anomalies, and suppressed wartime history suggests that there may be far more to Antarctica than meets the eye. The fascination reached a fever pitch in 2016 when satellite scans revealed several large, geometric structures protruding from the Antarctic ice sheet. The formations were pyramid-shaped, symmetrical, and located in one of the most inhospitable regions on Earth. To the untrained eye, they resembled natural mountain peaks. But when analyzed by researchers and enthusiasts alike, the mathematical precision and angles of these formations appeared too regular, too engineered, to be a product of random geology. The internet lit up with theories. Were these the remains of ancient Antarctica civilizations, buried under ice for thousands of years? While the scientific community quickly dismissed the formations as nunataks, mountain peaks poking through ice, others weren't convinced. The idea that Antarctica once supported life isn't so far-fetched. Around 100 million years ago, the continent was covered in lush forests and teeming with animals. Even more recently, before it became encased in ice, some researchers believe it may have supported human habitation during an earlier epoch now lost to time. If humanity, or a pre-human intelligence, once walked this land, the evidence would now be locked deep beneath glaciers over 2 miles thick. Lake Vostok, the largest subglacial lake in Antarctica, adds another layer of mystery. Buried beneath more than 3,700 meters of ice, this massive body of water has been sealed off from the surface for millions of years. Russian scientists drilling into the lake have reported unusual findings, including magnetic anomalies and unexpected heat sources. What generates this heat at such depths? Why do magnetic field readings spike in the vicinity of the lake? Some believe these could be signs of geothermal activity, but others suspect something more artificial, perhaps remnants of a long-lost underground base in Antarctica, built by an ancient civilization and now completely hidden from the world. And then there's the wartime history that continues to raise eyebrows. During World War II, Nazi Germany launched several expeditions to Antarctica. Officially, they were scouting whaling stations and mapping unclaimed territories. Unofficially, rumors persist that they were searching for something much more profound. The theory that a secret Nazi base was built in Antarctica has been circulating for decades, fueled by reports of post-war U-boats disappearing in the South Atlantic and whispers of advanced technology being tested in polar conditions. Operation Hypogeum, a massive military expedition led by the United States in 1946, only added fuel to the fire. Officially described as a training exercise, it involved over 4,000 personnel, aircraft carriers, and warships. It was abruptly cut short after only a few weeks, sparking rumors that the forces encountered something they were not prepared to handle. These stories have been widely dismissed by mainstream historians, but they persist in part because of how much of Antarctica remains unexplored. The sheer scale of the continent and the difficulty of penetrating its icy surface make it an ideal location for secrets, whether ancient or modern. Only a small fraction of its interior has been thoroughly studied, and even less has been physically excavated. Any evidence of past civilizations would likely remain inaccessible for decades, if not centuries. Despite the speculative nature of many claims, the interest in Antarctica pyramid structures and possible underground bases has only grown. Search trends reveal that thousands of people actively seek information on these anomalies each month, driven by a mix of scientific curiosity and conspiratorial intrigue. The continent has become a digital frontier for those questioning the accepted narrative of human history. Some researchers propose that if advanced civilizations did exist before the last ice age, Antarctica could have served as a southern hub, strategically positioned and possibly forgotten after catastrophic climate shifts. If even a portion of these theories prove true, it would dramatically expand the timeline of civilization and force a re-evaluation of everything we understand about human origins. In the end, the truth about Antarctica may lie somewhere between scientific caution and historical curiosity. While we have no definitive proof of ancient Antarctica civilizations or hidden subglacial cities, we also have far more questions than answers. The continent's extreme isolation makes it difficult to explore, and its political neutrality under the Antarctic Treaty ensures that access is heavily regulated. Whether this is for preservation or concealment remains a matter of speculation. One thing is certain. In a world where so much has already been discovered, Antarctica still holds its secrets. Beneath the ice, there could be wonders, technologies, or histories waiting to be uncovered. And until we dig deeper, both literally and metaphorically, the icy veil will continue to hide what may be the most astonishing chapter in Earth's forgotten past. Theories, cover-ups, and forbidden archaeology. For every astonishing underground discovery that makes headlines, there are countless others that never reach the public. Censored reports, blocked permits, and mysteriously abandoned excavations raise uncomfortable questions about how history is written and who gets to decide what's remembered and what's erased. At the heart of these questions lies a growing movement known as forbidden archaeology, a field of inquiry that challenges the mainstream narrative, dares to explore ancient secrets, and shines a light on the darker side of historical preservation. Mainstream academia, as rigorous and respected as it may be, tends to avoid the implications of underground discoveries that don't fit within the accepted timeline of human development. This isn't always because of malice or conspiracy. Often, it's about control, consistency, and credibility. Archaeologists are trained to look for evidence that fits into established models. When something unexpected is found, like a tunnel system predating the civilization it's buried beneath, or technology too advanced for its time, it's often dismissed as an anomaly, a misinterpretation, or worse, a hoax. But not everyone agrees. Independent researchers, rogue academics, and whistleblowers have been documenting what they believe to be deliberate suppression of knowledge. In some cases, discoveries that challenge conventional history are reclassified, hidden, or simply ignored. There are reports of sealed excavation sites, confiscated artifacts, and research grants suddenly withdrawn when findings veer too far from accepted doctrine. Scientists who speak out about these anomalies sometimes face professional exile, ridicule, or worse. Careers are ruined not because the evidence is false, but because it's too disruptive. Some of these suppressed findings suggest that ancient civilizations possessed lost technology we still don't fully understand. From laser-straight tunnels cut through solid rock, to ventilation systems in underground cities that still work after thousands of years, the evidence points to a level of engineering that defies the tools supposedly available at the time. Were these feats achieved by forgotten techniques? Or does the answer lie in something more controversial, contact with non-human intelligence or knowledge passed down from a vanished epoch? Alien intervention is a theory that, while sensational, refuses to go away. It isn't just about spacecraft or visitors from the stars. It's about the idea that some form of higher knowledge influenced early human civilizations, particularly in the construction of sites far more advanced than what the historical record can justify. Proponents point to similarities in underground structures across cultures that had no contact with each other. How could civilizations separated by oceans create nearly identical subterranean chambers, acoustic temples, and labyrinthine tunnels? Is this parallel evolution, or shared influence from an unknown source? Government secrecy also plays a role in these ongoing mysteries. Several underground sites around the world are off limits not because they are unsafe, but because of the geopolitical or cultural sensitivity. In some countries, revealing certain ancient truths could undermine national identity, religious doctrine, or political stability. As a result, evidence is quietly locked away, hidden under layers of bureaucracy, or labeled as classified. And in the digital age, sensitive data can be scrubbed from search engines or buried under misinformation, making it nearly impossible for the public to know what's real and what's intentionally obscured. Adding yet another dimension are ancient maps and documents that hint at global subterranean networks now lost to time. Some of these texts, preserved in monasteries or private collections, reference vast underground corridors connecting distant temples and cities. The Zeno map, the Piri Reis map, and other anomalous cartographic artifacts appear to show Antarctica free of ice or underground passages in areas not yet excavated. While mainstream historians claim these are misinterpretations or artistic liberties, others see them as fragments of a forgotten world, clues to a civilization that lived beneath the surface long before ours rose above it. The notion of forbidden archaeology isn't simply about debunking accepted history. It's about expanding it. It asks us to reconsider what we think we know and to remain open to the possibility that human history is far older, deeper, and more complex than we've been taught. The suppression of these findings, whether by institutions, governments, or societal inertia, may be preventing us from understanding our true origins. If ancient secrets are indeed buried beneath our cities, deserts, and mountains, then ignoring them is more than a missed opportunity, it's a deliberate refusal to evolve. The lost technology, the underground cities, the vanished maps, all point to a story waiting to be rediscovered. And as more people begin to question, investigate, and dig, literally and metaphorically, the era of suppressed history may finally be coming to an end. What if our history is buried below us? Across continents and centuries, beneath temples, deserts, mountains, and even ice, lie the forgotten layers of a story that challenges everything we thought we knew about civilization. From the engineered depths of Derinkuyu in Turkey to the sacred echo chambers of Malta, from the mercury-filled tunnels of Teotihuacan to the sealed voids beneath the Sphinx, the ancient underground cities of the world speak a silent truth. They tell us that history isn't just written in stone above ground. It's carved in silence far beneath our feet. The question now is no longer whether these places exist, they do. The real mystery is who built them, how they did it, and what knowledge they possessed that we've since lost. The construction of these underground worlds required not only physical labor but architectural mastery, planning, and a profound understanding of materials, geology, airflow, and purpose. And yet, many of these achievements cannot be fully explained by the tools or understanding attributed to their supposed time periods. Some sites appear older than their surrounding civilizations. Others contain features too advanced for the technology we're told they had. So who were these people? Were they early ancestors of known cultures, or members of forgotten civilizations lost to time and myth? The deeper we go, the more unsettling and exhilarating the possibilities become. Were these underground networks built solely for survival, ritual, and defense? Or were they also created to preserve secret ancient knowledge, information so valuable or dangerous it had to be hidden away from the surface world? What if the real reason these sites are sealed, restricted, or dismissed by authorities isn't because they have nothing to offer, but because they hold answers too disruptive to reveal? It's time to reconsider what history truly is. For generations, we've been taught to look upward, toward monuments, palaces, and pyramids. But maybe we've been looking in the wrong direction. What if the key to understanding who we are, where we come from, and what we're capable of has been beneath us all along? Buried not just under layers of earth and stone, but under centuries of academic silence, selective exploration, and deliberate forgetting. The story of ancient underground cities is more than just an archaeological curiosity. It's a reminder that the surface tells only part of the tale. The rest is waiting to be uncovered. And as technology advances and global curiosity grows, the ground beneath us may soon give up its secrets. So, which of these forgotten places fascinated you the most? Was it the labyrinths of the Inca, the mysterious voids in Giza, or the ice-covered enigmas of Antarctica? Share your thoughts below and let us know which part of this hidden history made you question what else might be buried just out of sight. The truth may still be underground, but curiosity is what